What's up, brand builders? Welcome to another video. My name is Mash, and today's topic is a little off the beaten track, so to speak. The question is, would big words help your brand differentiate? Now, from my house to my office on the way back, every day I pass a barber shop, and the name of this barbershop is Phoenix Trichology Institute. Now, I understand what that is. And I understand as a brand builder, I can empathize with the owner and see what he was trying to do with naming the shop or naming the business something different. Okay, so this is about differentiation. So Phoenix Trichology Institute. Now, as a brand builder, I couldn't help but walk into this barbershop one day and have a chat with the owner. And I asked him, okay, so what's the idea behind naming your shop Phoenix Trichology Institute? So the owner had a big vision to talk about. He wanted to build an institute down the line where it was not just about being a barbershop, but also about educating people on on hair, on taking care of hair, on regrowing hair, on a lot of things to do with hair. So hence the word trichology, and education being a part of his brand vision, and hence institute. Now Phoenix, his version was that Phoenix rises from the ashes. And so what their brand does is to rejuvenate your image to, which is a good idea. But come to think of it, the location of that business, would it support that kind of a name, that kind of a brand differentiation, that kind of words, the usage of such words? Would that really help? If you analyze it, and I have analyzed it with the owner, of course, most people, when they walk past it, they look at the name, they don't understand what it is, but they look inside and they see a row of chairs, mirrors, and sinks and things like that, and it's obviously a barber shop. So there is a disconnect between the name and what's happening inside the shop. Now, I've seen this with a lot of businesses out there. Differentiation, just for the sake of differentiation, really doesn't cut it. It doesn't really work. It might come off as a little fake. Using big words to try and place or position your brand in a kind of a elite or luxury or upscale market, it should be done very carefully. If your target audience can really understand what you're trying to say, can really align with your brand message, then it's okay. Otherwise, what you're really doing is to fake it till you make it. And faking it till you make it in business might work for some, might not work for others. When it comes to branding, I think faking it might not be really in the best interests of your business. So what is the problem with using these big words? When you want to communicate your vision, your brand vision, and you want to take it to the next level, and you want to say that you're not just something small, but rather you have a vision for you have a big vision, then it has to be done very carefully. Because if you have a vision and you want to be a Trichology Institute, then you need to name it Trichology Institute when you get there. When you start out, if you're a barbershop, then just call it a barbershop. Simplicity is the key. Another example is where people use words like, I don't know, lawn surgery. Okay. Now, lawn surgery, there's nothing wrong with that, but what is the message that you're giving out? Lawn surgery. So what you're trying to say is that you're very meticulous, you're very precise, you take care of your lawn, you can take care of your clients' lawns like you would a doctor does surgery. It sounds good, but to the majority of your target audience, I think a lawn surgery comes off as fake. It comes off as trying to do something bigger than what you're really capable of. So yes, I know it's really hard to differentiate in the market, and believe me, that's what I do for a living, helping brands differentiate. So I do this day in and day out, and I understand the challenges of trying to differentiate your brand. And using words to differentiate the brand is, of course, 80-90% of what brand differentiation is. And of course, visual differentiation also plays a part, but visual differentiation comes after you start using words to differentiate your brand. And but when it comes to naming your brand and also in your marketing messages, you got to be careful. You got to align with your target audience. That is most important. That's fundamental to brand differentiation. It doesn't matter if you're still calling your brand something that is what it is, like a barbershop. But going beyond that and trying to be something that you're not may not really work. So this is Monday. Start your week off. If you're launching a brand, if you're building a brand, this is the first thing. When you're naming it, be careful how you name it. It's okay. Yeah. There will be people who say, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to call it whatever I want to call it. And I want to let people know that I'm an institute. I'm a trichology institute. So what? What's the big deal? That's okay. But just a word of caution. When you're naming your brands, be careful how you name them. When you're trying to differentiate your brand, be careful how you differentiate. Do not try and overreach in terms of what you're saying. It has to align with your target audience. It has to mean something to your target audience. And simplicity is really the best. You can differentiate through other means. You can differentiate in terms of how you're going to provide the service, what your service really means to your customers, so on and so forth. And that will be a video for another day. But for today, this is the takeaway. Be careful how you differentiate your brand, the words you use. If you're tempted to use big words to differentiate your brand, just take a step back, look at your target audience, consider their worldview, and say, do these words fit into that worldview? And, if not, throw them away, go for simplicity. All right. See you in the next video.